So we're back on the town scene. I've got my wall as far down as here. I've got this shop in here, which I'm going to move up slightly, because what I'm going to do then is take this wall here across here a bit, and this piece here I'm going to build up the land and do some grass and bushes here. So we'll get down to that and do that. Over in the park area, I've got some gardening here. I'll put some flowers in, and then I can start putting some ground down here. I've got the bandstand in position. What I need to look at getting is I want some fence along here. And we'll go from there. So let's get on with cutting this back, and then we can build that up down there. So I've got the rest of my wall and the steps in, and my plaster bandage on for that bit of the scene. So what we'll have to do is wait for the plaster bandage to dry. What I'll do then, I'll probably use some sculptor mould, fill some of the gaps by the wall and blend it all in before I start painting and scenic work. So I've got the sculptor mould on now. What we need to do now is get a base coat of brown acrylic paint. So let's get that on. So my paint's now dry, so what I'm going to do is apply my first layer of scenic material, which I usually put is blended turf, woodland scenics, and I put that in my puffer box to apply it. So first of all we need to get some basing glue down. glue on then. Let's apply the blended turf on. That's that one, so we'll have to let that dry, and then I can vacuum the excess off with a vacuum cleaner with a stocking on the end. So we've now come to put the second layer of static grass on, but this time I'm going to have to spray the layering spray on. So what I've done, I've masked these areas here where I don't want the glue to go, and obviously covered the back scenes up because I don't want any glue to go on them. So that's the masking on. So we'll spray some layering spray on. Spray on. This time we're going to mix a couple of grasses. So I've got some WWS Muddy 4mm and some Woodland Scenics straw, and I've mixed them in the applicator and put a mixture on together. So they're in the applicator. That bit of paper ain't going to stay up, is it? So they're mixed in the applicator. So for my next layer of static grass, I'm going to do some random patches. So I'm going to apply the layering spray with a brush. Will give us more of a random effect. What I'm going to use for this, I've got some green scene fawn, which is 6mm, which is slightly longer than I've put on before. So I've got that loaded in the applicator. I'll put that on. What we'll have to do is let that dry, and I can vacuum the excess off, and it should leave the patches of the fawn. So I'll wait for that to dry. Okay, so we've got the grass down now, where we had the steps come down. Put the grass in. I have added a tree since we last did some work. What I want to do now, I want to make a little gravel path down here from the steps down to the crossing to the back of the crossing signal box. So first of all, we've got to clear a bit of the grass away. So we'll scrape some of the grass where we can put the path. Scrape that. I'm just going to vacuum that, so anyone with earplugs in, beware. And what I'm going to use for my gravel on this one is a Woodland Scenic, very fine ballast. I don't use this on my track, I've got plenty of this spare, so I'm going to use a bit of this for that. See how it comes out. So I've got some in a lid. It's going to take ages, I think. Try it with my fingers. Fix that down, we'll spray it with a bit of YPA. And we'll fix it down with some watered down PVA. And that's it, we'll let that dry and see what that turns out like. So it's been a few days since we laid the path and it has dried out, and what I'm going to do now is just hoover up some of the access. Also I put some grass down along for some weeds along the wall, so I'll hoover that up as well. So if you've got your earplugs on, beware, I'm going to start the hoover up. Now that we've cleaned some of the loose gravel up, what I want to do is I want to colour this, tone it down a bit. What I'm going to use is a sand wash and just put that on. let's turn it down a bit. Do the area around the signal box. We'll let that dry till we go on to the next stage. What I want to do here along here is I want to put a little wire fence. I'll just stop the people falling over, because there's a bit of a ramp there. What I've got some scale model scenery fence posts which I've painted, and these have wire going through the holes. What I've got to do first is put some mounting holes in. So what you have to do is drill 2mm hole, where you want the posts. I'll finish the rest of the holes, then we'll go to putting the posts in. So I've got the holes drilled, now it's time to put the posts in, which is going to be a challenge. So I've got the first post, put a bit of rocket glue on the bottom, try and find the hole. Oh, I found that one. It's difficult to pick them up. Dab of glue. Put it in the hole. Difficult to see the holes. That's it. Dab of glue. them set before we put the wires through. The next stage for the fencing is to thread the wires through the posts. Unfortunately, where it is on the layout, I won't be able to film it and physically do it, so I'm going to thread the wires through and come back to you. So there it is, the fence weathered. Probably put some more bushes around it now, as bushes will probably grow up through the fence. So we've finished that little scene. Since finishing that, I have done quite a bit on the town scene, so I'll just give you an overview of what I have done, which I haven't recorded. So that's the scene there. If we go up to the shops, I've put some street lights in and put some interiors to the buildings. We go over to the hotel. Oh, and who's that there? That couple get about, don't they? There we go. Paris and Paul again. So coming back, there's the street lights up that end. Coming back. We go into the park area. I've got my fencing up. I think I got that from the 3D Scenic. And then we've got the bandstand, which I mentioned previously. I've got some Model U figures there, painted them myself. The flower troughs I built using my laser cutter. And I have got lighting in the bandstand, and I have got music. I'll cut the music in case I get a copyright strike. Coming back, there's the benches in the park. I 3D printed them myself. I recently bought a 3D printer to do one or two things on the railway. We go up to the pub area. We have got some drinkers in the pub. There is optics on the wall, I can't quite catch them. I don't know who that is in there drinking, it's not me. Come back, I've got to fill the gaps in between the buildings. I did try a bit of AI to fill the gaps, but it wasn't too good, so I'm going to try that again. I have used AI in one of my tunnel mouths where the road goes through, and that's come out quite well, and I printed it out, and I'll show you that in another video. So that's that scene coming on quite well. Still bits to do, but I think it looks quite nice.